So at the wall, you can do a lot of nasty stuff because they're not going anywhere. You could basically do Ender A and B and some other options. I'm going to use forward 2-4 to wall splat for all of these examples just for consistency. So the first thing I want to show you, political storm. Forward 1+2, 3, 1+2. At quarter circle 1+2 at the end, you get bonus damage from, which again, you might as well learn how to do. And if it doesn't come out, it doesn't come out, no big deal. So Political Storm is a great move to use at the wall for good damage. You can also use Ender 1 and 2, or Enders A and B, excuse me. Back 3, 4, boom. Boom, boom, boom. That works too. With these, with Enders A and B, you want to delay that last hit so they can slump to the ground. If this is all you're going for, you're going to get more damage if you let them slump to the ground a little bit, because when they touch the ground, you get that grounded hit, like scaling bullshit that's always there. So you kind of have to learn to delay those. If you just got a clean wall splatter, you got to the combo, the wall combo just here. You want to delay that. Because it says 32% damage scaling, you want that to say 50. So that can be a little tricky. Otherwise, Political Storm works just fine. Political Storm is not subject to that here. You get damage, no worries. It actually gets easier to do that later on. The last option to take a look at that's worth noting, forward 4, 3, 1. Boom, nice way to break the floor. Comparable damage and breaks the floor. You like that. So those are your basic wall ender strings. Let's look at the variations based on how you get there. If you still have your tornado left, for example, when you get to the wall, generally you want to do a one-hit tornado and then the big-ass string at the end. But there's lots of stuff you can do. First off, let's take a look at heat mode, how that changes things. Like that. While running 1 is a good tornado for this, but when you're in heat mode already, it goes into heaven and earth for you. And bop. You can wait a little bit for this one again and delay and get the bop later on. They can't tech roll there, but they can just get up normally. So you kind of delay the bop a bit. You'll get used to it. It'll say 80% there when you get it just right. Once they've stopped like the spike animation, but you're still able to hit them before they get up, you should be able to get an 80% damage in there. But that's for heat mode only. Otherwise, while running 1 is still good. Right? Single hit tornado, boom, nice damage. So you could do all the stuff that we talked about. Political Storm. Political Storm with his blue sparks. There you go. And again, Enders A and B, you still got to delay them here. See, that wasn't even enough. It'll say 50% right there. You get it just right. Kind of hard to do. So you might not want to focus on those. Political Storm is just fine. The Ender B is going to do more damage for sure. But having to do the double quarter circle, you spent so much time doing double quarter circle 2-2. And then doing that as fast as humanly possible. Now it's the opposite. Now you have to delay it the max as possible. And that can mess with your timing. It's 8 more damage, but if you don't get it, you don't get it, and you're going to mess up. So, in my opinion, I tend to stick to Political Storm as the wall. Just because I don't have to worry about that. That does nice damage anyway. Some other things you could do, just to do various effects and timings and change things up a little bit. You can do a jab and then forward 1+2. It's going to pop them off the wall in that weird way. Jab, forward 1+2. It just does. They just fly out sideways, which is kind of weird. Can confuse them if they don't know what's going to happen. You might get an opportunity, a hesitation to go for big lows or something like that. So it's worth mentioning. It's only 2 less damage in Political Storm. And you get some weird situations out of it. You can go into your stances. She used to be able to do this. It's just like a different way to do it now. You do down 3-1, and then either forward 2 or down forward 2. And then you're in stance waiting for them to stand up. Right? And you can pop immediately. And sometimes you might be able to hit them in the back if the angle is such that when they roll out, you know, you take a step forward at the same time or whatever. And you can use your second stance step if you want to as well. Right? And you'll realign to them that way. So you can use that for stance pressure. Or the last choice to do can have that and go right into Wolf first. The difference in these two is people know that Wolf is the second stance. So when you see her do this and then stance, right, you know how that goes. The difference is when she does this, she's in cat, then wolf. When she does this, she's in wolf first. So they're not going to be able to predict as well. It's going to take too long for their brain to scan the database and realize what stance she's in and what those options are. You're going to have a little bit of advantage by mixing those up a lot. And the damage difference is minimal, like 5 damage less to have the stance pressure ready to go on their wake up. So think about all those options. Political Storm, nice, reliable, easy ender. You can use enders A and B to get more damage if you can do the delay just right, or you can work in your stance entry by using like down forward 2 or the quarter circle 1+2. Those work just as well. A little bit less damage leads to the stance pressure. Now let's look at 2-hit tornadoes and how that changes things. Like down forward 4-2. Great usage of that right there. No weird hitboxy stuff. You can also do the hop kick here and tap back and to do your regular stuff. You just use the wall splash or tornado and tap back. You can get the same options. Right, works just as well. And the other one, again, quarter circle 1+2, 2 is a tornado. Again, you can cancel the wolf if you want or go for there, whatever you want to. You can use those as your 2-hit tornado, so you still have more to go. So you're going to basically cancel wolf stance right there and then use regular stuff. So again, 2 hits, Political Storm still works. Down forward 2-2. Political Storm, boom. We got 3 more damage than we did the first time, so this is adding up. Now you can use Ender A and B without needing to delay them. You saw I did it a couple of times. I was getting that 24% scaling. Look at it now. Right? Without even trying to delay it whatsoever. 50% damage. Just like that. You get the wall slumped position correctly because of 1 extra hit in your combo, right? The number of hits in your combo causes them to slump out and fall out of your combo. That's what you want. You want to hit them in that last possible second, which using a 2-hit tornado times out for you. So you saw that was actually 1 damage less in that case because of the scaling. However, Ender B is where it really shines. Boom. 75 damage. That's a grip more. And that's super easy. That's the way you learn to do it in combos as fast as possible. Right? You do the double quarter circle. Fast as possible. That works here. So rather than doing a single hit tornado, like running 1, and then have to delay that, just do a 2-hit tornado and no delay. You get plenty of damage, and that's much easier to do it like that. Once you're used to doing those inputs, that works like gangbusters. Really good to do there. The other options from above still kind of work, but a little bit different. You can still do jab, forward 1+2. See, it's the same weird wall kick out. That works just fine. And that's going to mess them up a little bit. And to do your stances, you're going to change it instead of down 3-1 to just that same single jab. Jab, down forward 2. There's your stance options. Those are worth doing. Less damage in this case. So if in your mind you want to go for stance pressure at the end of this wall combo, you should probably do the wall running 1 version and then do down 3-1 in the stance. If you want to go for the damage, do your 2-hit and do Political Storm or Ender B or whatever it is. One little thing is worth mentioning. You want to keep it simple. You can just do the wolf or the hop kick as your tornado and then just do cat 2-3-1. That hurts, right? That's easy to do. No issues with that. 2-3-1, right? That's fine. This is a fun little way to use your stance since it's there, just because you feel like it. Lastly, there's 3-hit tornadoes, so you can also still do some pretty good stuff. Down 3-1-2. Probably your best option there. Or you could do forward 3-4-3. That's a little bit more damage. It's up to you. Whichever one you're comfortable with, they're fine. In my brain, I remember down 3-1-2 a little bit more these days, but that could always change. And you guessed it, you can still do Political Storm here. Boom, now we're up to 71 damage for Political Storm. That's a go-to option all the time, no matter what. However, you can't do anything else here. Basically, the only other stuff that you could do is try to break the floor with that very first string. Forward 4-3-1. Boom, break the floor. If you want to break the floor, you probably go this route. Do your 3-hit tornado and then that move. You also can do manual cat 2-3-1 here at the wall and get that little slump at the very end just right by delaying that too. Something different, nothing fancy. So there's a ton of options there in your wall combos. Quite honestly, Political Storm is reliable. You could do that every single time and not worry about it and be done. So if in your mind you want to go for stance pressure at the end of this combo instead of damage, you should stick to the wall running 1, down 3-1, and then your stance options there. Those are really good. If you want to go for the damage, you should go for a 2-hit tornado and then do enders A and B from the normal combos anyway. That does some of your best damage. And if you want to break the floor, you should go for the 3-hit tornado. Break. There you go. So that's the best way to simplify it for me. As far as heat changing that stuff at the wall, not a lot. You basically would go for the Heaven and Earth 1 spike and then down 1+2 from there. That works really well. Heat doesn't really add techniques or combos or stuff that you can't normally do. It just buffs a lot of things up. So you could get some more damage by using select moves, but you're generally going to want to use heat for the pure damage of the hammer punch and the spike. And you could do that at the wall. The best way to implement that, as we talked about in the very beginning, is if you're already in heat mode, to use while running 1 to activate. Because while running 1 in heat will put you right in Heaven and Earth. Boom, there you go. That's your best choice. Otherwise, I wouldn't worry about heat. It's a simple application. You could use that for anything else, not necessarily here. If it kills, right? If you can kill with it, spend all your marbles on one last combo. But I think it's going to do it. I wanted to keep